Today, we expose 7 Aussie kids' yogurts that have no business in a lunchbox. Because behind the cute cartoons and probiotic badges, a lot of these pouches and snacks are closer to soft lollies and thickened milk desserts than real yogurt. And stay with this right to the end, because once you see what's actually inside these 7, you'll never look at a kid's yogurt aisle the same way again. For years, parents here have been told yogurt is the safe choice. Calcium for bones, protein for growth, live cultures for tiny tummies. But when Choice pulled apart well over 100 different kids' yogurt pouches on Australian shelves, they found that roughly 2/3 contained added sugars, often as sugar, fruit juice concentrate or syrups. Natural plain yogurt sits at about 5 to 6 g of sugar per 100 g from lactose alone, so when a kid's pouch jumps to 9, 10, 12 grams, that extra is almost all free sugar. And in packaged toddler snacks, some yogurt products are more than 60% sugar by weight, putting them firmly in lolly territory. This isn't one shady brand. It's a system that learned if you slap no nasties, made with real fruit and probiotic on a pouch, parents will pay dessert prices for something that behaves like confectionery. So let's pull back that foil seal and see what you're really packing next to the sandwich. Number 1 is a pouch almost every Aussie kid has squeezed. Number 1, Yoplait Petit Miam Kids Yogurt Pouch Strawberry. Yoplait Petit Miam Strawberry is everywhere. It's in Coles, Woolies, Servos, lunchboxes, playgroups. The pack calls it a tasty, nutritious snack for kids, made with real fruit and goodness of milk, with live cultures, high calcium, and a 4.5 health star rating. It boasts no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives, and markets itself as ideal for kids on the go. On the surface, it looks like the poster child for healthy yogurt. Now, listen to the ingredients. The pouch includes dairy ingredients like milk, skim milk and milk solids, water, around 4% strawberry, sugar, a starch thickener, 1442, apple juice concentrate, added calcium, 341, natural flavors, vegetable and fruit concentrates such as black carrot and blackcurrant for color, acidity regulators like 331 and 296, vitamin D and cultures. So that strawberry yogurt is mostly milk plus sugar, starch and concentrated apple juice, with just a small percentage of actual strawberry and extra colors to make it look fruity. Choice notes that once yogurt goes much above around 7 g sugar per 100 gram, you're almost certainly looking at added sugars, not just natural lactose and a little fruit. Yoplait's own nutrition panel shows significantly more sugar than plain yogurt, driven by that added sugar and juice concentrate. So why is this a problem? Because the marketing paints a picture of real fruit yogurt, while the recipe behaves like a sweetened, thickened dairy dessert with some fruit and flavoring on top. The flavor should come from strawberries, not a blend of sugar, juice concentrate, and natural flavors that trick your kid's brain into tasting more fruit than is really there. If you've ever thrown a frozen Petit Miam into a lunchbox thinking you've nailed the healthy snack, you're not alone. But if this is what one of the better mainstream kids' yogurts looks like, number 2 shows what happens when they add probiotics and an even bigger health halo. Number 2, Valia Kids Probiotic Yogurt Pouch, Strawberry Valia Kids. Strawberry probiotic pouches lean hard on health branding. The Woolworths listing highlights 3 probiotics including LGG, which can help strengthen the immune system, plus calcium for strong bones, protein for growing bodies, and vitamin B12 for sustained energy and concentration. It promises no artificial colors, flavors, sweeteners, or preservatives, and is sold as perfect to pop in the lunchbox. The message is clear. This is not just yogurt. This is a functional immune support snack. Now compare that to the ingredient list. You'll see milk and skim milk, water, sugar, milk solids, a small amount of strawberry pulp, rice starch, gelatine, natural flavors, acidity regulators such as 331 and 330, enzyme lactase, and live yogurt cultures including L. acidophilus, bifidobacterium, and lactobacillus GG. Per 100 glas, the numbers sit at roughly 12 g of carbohydrate and close to 9 g of sugars. Again, plain yogurt sits around 5-6 green sugars per 100 g from lactose alone, so a big chunk of the sugar here is added, not naturally occurring. That added sugar sits right alongside the probiotics on the same panel. So if this is marketed as a gut-friendly, immune-supporting pouch, why does it still need straight sugar? Rice starch to bulk out texture, gelatine to stabilize it, and natural flavors to hold kids' attention? The label suggests something close to medicine in a pouch. The numbers make it look much more like a sweet-flavored yogurt dessert with some bonus cultures stirred in. If you've ever justified the extra cost because at least it's got good bugs, this is where those justifications start to crumble. And if that's what the premium probiotic option looks like, wait until we look at the supermarket home brand version. Number 3. Woolworth Strawberry Yogurt Pouch, 70 degrees. Woolworth Strawberry Yogurt Pouch is built for one thing: quick, cheap convenience. Same shape pouch, same kid-friendly size, strawberries on the front, but with the Woolies House logo and a slightly lower price. It sits right in the kids' yogurt section, so it looks like a safe Me Too choice. The assumption is simple: if the big brands are yogurt, this must be yogurt too. Here's what Woolworths actually puts in it. You get skimmed milk and milk, around 5% strawberry puree, sugar, water, and milk solids, plus yogurt cultures and other minor ingredients. So once again, you've got mostly dairy, a small amount of strawberry, and then added sugar and water to flesh out the pouch. The label leans heavily on strawberry puree and yogurt, but the formulation is still a sweetened flavored yogurt, not a simple milk and fruit combo. So why does this quietly worry nutrition experts? Because Choice's review of kids' yogurt pouches shows that added sugar is now the norm, not the exception, and house brand products are part of that same pattern. Once total sugars climb beyond that 7 g per 100 gram guide, you're in dessert territory rather than basic yogurt. If you've ever swapped from a branded pouch to the Woolies one thinking it's probably simpler and less engineered, the numbers suggest otherwise. And if the big two supermarkets are comfortable loading their home brand pouches, what do you think happens when we step into the discount aisle? Number 4. Aldi Just Organic Yogurt Pouches. Aldi's Just Organic Yogurt pouches look like the dream for health-conscious parents on a budget. They carry an organic logo, simple packaging, reassuring flavor labels like vanilla and strawberry, and prices that undercut the big brands. For many shoppers, the word organic is enough to switch off the critical part of the brain. Organic must mean better, right? Choice's independent testing tells a different story. In its review of kids' yogurt pouches, Choice flagged Aldi Just Organic Yogurt among the products with higher sugar contents, around 12 g of sugar per 100 gram or more in some flavors. That's roughly double the natural sugar level of plain yogurt, which sits at around 5 to 6 g per 100 gram from lactose alone. When you hit those levels, the gap is coming from added sugars in one form or another, even if they're blended through fruit purees or concentrates. So what does organic actually guarantee in this context? It may mean the sugar is organic, the fruit concentrates are organic, even the thickeners are certified. But your child's body doesn't distinguish between organic cane sugar and conventional cane sugar when it hits their system. The branding suggests a virtuous, upgraded pouch for good mums and dads. The sugar numbers place it squarely in the same dessert-like zone as the worst of the mainstream pouches. If you've ever chosen these thinking, at least it's organic, so it's the safe one, This is where that illusion snaps. And if a product can be organic and still behave like a sugar bomb, what happens when you take the supermarket name off completely and just chase the lowest price? Number 5. Coles Yogurt Pouch. Coles Blueberry Yogurt pouches are the classic grab-and-go option. Big wall of them in the fridge, friendly price, familiar Coles branding. Blueberry on the front makes it feel like a fruit-rich, antioxidant-packed choice. A lot of parents grab them in bulk, one for every day of the week. Choices analysis dropped Coles Yogurt Pouch Blueberry straight into the red zone. It was listed among the yogurt pouches with sugar contents around 12 g per 100 gram or more. That means you're looking at roughly twice the sugar of plain yogurt, putting it shoulder to shoulder with other sweet snacks parents would never call healthy. When a yogurt pouch's sugars hit those levels, choice is clear. The extra sugar is not just from milk and blueberries. So if this is a simple blueberry yogurt, why does it land so high on the sugar ladder? Because once you start adding sugar and highly concentrated fruit blends to make it shelf-stable, hypersweet and uniform from batch to batch, you leave the world of traditional yogurt and enter the world of processed dairy desserts. The carton suggests a modest yogurt for little kids. The lab results say, watch the sugar like you'd watch a biscuit or muffin. If your child has had one of these in their lunchbox most days of the week, you can now see how the numbers quietly stack up, especially when you add juices, muesli bars, and yogurt treats on top. And speaking of treats, number 6 shows what happens when yogurt leaves the fridge entirely and sneaks into the lolly aisle disguised as a toddler snack. Number 6. Rafferty's Garden Strawberry Yogurt Buttons. Rafferty's Garden has built its entire brand on trust. Real food for babies and toddlers, simple recipes, soft pastel pouches that scream gentle and safe. Their strawberry yogurt buttons feel like the perfect halfway point between a treat and something you can feel good about. They're in the baby aisle, not the confectionery aisle, and the word yogurt is front and center. But Choice's investigation into sugars in packaged toddler foods pulls the mask off. Rafferty's Garden Strawberry Yogurt Buttons come in at around 62% sugar by weight. The mixed berry version clocks in even higher, again above 60% sugar. They sit right alongside other ultra-sweet toddler snacks, like Fruit Wriggles and Smoothie Melts, many of which hover above 60% sugar as well. So what's really happening here? These buttons typically use yogurt powder or yogurt-based coatings made from dried yogurt plus sugars, then form them into cute melts that dissolve quickly in little mouths. The front tells you it's a yogurt snack for toddlers. The sugar percentage makes it behave far more like mini lollies dressed in baby aisle branding. If you've ever tossed a pack into the trolley thinking better than chocolate or jelly beans, the numbers say otherwise. And if a product can be more than 60% sugar and still sell on the strength of the word yogurt, what does that say about the rest of the category? Number 7 is where it gets even trickier, because this one looks like the fix everybody has been begging for. Number 7. No added sugar pouches that still aren't real yogurt. The latest wave of kids' yogurt marketing looks like a genuine course correction. No added sugar, fruit sweetened, no artificials, shouted across the front of the pouch in giant lettering. Yoplait Petit Miams, strawberry. No added sugar pouch is a perfect example, pitched as the answer for parents who finally realized how sugary the original was. On the surface, it looks like the clean option in the chaos. Look closer at the fine print. The strawberry no added sugar Petit Miam lists milk and skim milk, water, milk solids, reconstituted apple juice, around 4% strawberry pulp, thickener 1442, mineral salts such as 341 and 327, natural flavors and live yogurt cultures. Total sugars sit at around 4 g per 100 gram, much closer to plain yogurt, and that genuinely is a big improvement over the sugar-logged pouches we just covered. But you still have reconstituted apple juice slipped in as a sweetener, starch thickeners to control texture, mineral salts, and added flavors. So why does this still land on a must-avoid list? Because it shows how far we've drifted from the basic idea of yogurt. Milk fermented with live cultures, optionally with some fruit stirred through. We're now applauding products for being no added sugar, while they still rely on processed juice concentrates, added flavors, and lab-designed textures instead of simply giving kids plain yogurt plus real fruit. The marketing says pure and simple, no added sugar. The ingredient list says carefully engineered to taste like dessert without tripping the one line on the label parents are now trained to watch. If you've ever stood in the dairy aisle paralyzed by no sugar added, no added sugar, naturally sweetened, this is exactly why. We've reached a point where real yogurt, milk plus cultures, is the exception, and ultra-processed yogurt-style snacks are the default. What this really says about kids' yogurt in Australia, across Yoplait, Valia, Woolworths, Coles, Aldi, and Rafferty's Garden, the same patterns keep repeating. Added sugars everywhere, whether as straight sugar, apple juice concentrate, fruit purees used like syrup, or dried sugar in yogurt buttons. Tiny actual fruit percentages, often only a few percent strawberry or berry pulp, behind huge pictures of overflowing fruit bowls, starches, gelatine and thickeners, dialing up that dessert-like creaminess. And in the toddler snack aisle, sugar contents that mirror confectionery more than anything you'd pour on cereal. Choice has already warned that most squeezy yogurts don't list added versus natural sugar separately, so parents have to do sugar maths from the panel. Child-focused dietitians keep repeating the same rule of thumb. Plain yogurt around 5-6 g sugar per 100 gram is fine, but once you climb towards 10 g or 12 g in a kid's product, that difference is almost all free sugar. And their message about toddler snacks is blunt. Yogurt buttons and melts above 60% sugar should be considered occasional treats, not everyday baby food. This isn't about scaring you off yogurt forever. It's about recognizing that a category you were told was safe has quietly been remade by marketing teams and food technologists. Real yogurt is simple. What's showing up in a lot of Aussie lunchboxes is anything but. Your kid's lunchbox, your core Australian food culture, didn't jump straight from plain yogurt to cartoon pouches and yogurt-branded lollies overnight. It crept there one compromise at a time. A pouch for convenience, a health star here, a no nasties logo there. But every time you stop, flip the packet and actually read what's inside, you take some of that control back. Here's the simplest action you can take after this video. Ignore the front of the pouch completely. Go straight to the nutrition panel. If total sugar is way above 7 g per 100 gram and you see sugar, juice concentrate, syrup, fruit in brackets, or a toddler snack that's more than 60% sugar, treat it like what it is. Confectionery, not yogurt. Your kids' taste buds, their future relationship with food and their lunchbox don't need that dressed up as health. If this video helped you see kids' yogurt and yogurt snacks differently, tap like so more Aussie parents see it before the next school term. Subscribe if you want straight-up breakdowns of the foods that quietly shape your family's diet, from the baby aisle to the BBQ. And tell us in the comments which kids' yogurt or yogurt snack shocked you the most, and what's the first thing you're kicking out of your child's lunchbox after watching this.